Right, fourth attempt at short video. Sort of annoying. A bunch of you keep asking me, how things are going with my micro house builds or whatever else when we're talking on the internet. I do film regular blogs. I know they're quite long, but that's because there's a detailed subject and all that kind of stuff. If you don't have the time to watch what I'm doing and stuff, then watch the videos on fast forward or whatever. But it's kind of annoying when people are like, hey, I haven't heard from you in ages, what are you up to? It's like, well, dude, I do nearly daily blogs of the stuff that I'm up to, but hey, we'll try and keep this one short for all you lazy mofos. Okay, those of you who haven't been watching the videos, this was a lot darker in here. I now have all my windows into my little space. They're plastic covered for now because we haven't finished. They're fitted, but they haven't been glued in place, and the frames will be put in place with my mix of kind of fiberglass slash paper mache approach that we'll be doing for our exterior coating, which I'll show you shortly. So yeah, it's a lot lighter and nicer in here. We have a bunch more shelving space available, and I've now noticed that my walls are so thick that we've got enough windowsill space, even once we trim this out nicely, to put all my ornaments along here and stuff. So instead of having their own shelf for my little Buddhas and things that are sitting in there, we'll stick them around the windowsills, and that'll free up some storage space for my clothes, which are currently still in my backpack. And I'd like to be able to store them in their own cubes so they're easier to access. Also along the lines of moving from camping style equipment to sort of more, I live in a little micro box now, so we get to have a kind of a house buzz. I'm going to be switching out sleeping bags, ditching the older muckier ones, keeping one of my good ones, stuffing that in my tramping pack with my Gore-Tex bivy bag and a few other sort of bits and pieces for living outdoors, because I like to have the option to do that in camp and as an emergency backup if something goes wrong with my house unit. And yeah, we'll be switching out sleeping bags for like proper bedding and a bunch of things like that, and changing out the old covers for this couch thing. This is all built around to some nice new ones and a few other bits and pieces. I may, if I still need more storage for soft furnishings and things like my jacket and just stuff, build some net bags along the wall once we've done our fit out interior, put our lights in and painted and stuff. I may put net bags along the wall just to put clothes and bits of stuff in, and food and shit. Anyway, so that's our interior. As you can see, it's a lot lighter and nicer now. If we switch around, obviously still haven't done all that painting and made it properly nice, but it's better than it was. If we switch around here, there's the foam block we're currently using for the door that just sort of plugs in place. Eventually that'll be hinged as a hatch that comes up this way. I may put a window in that as well. Along our roof, you see the many bottles of glue. This is just standard PVA, very cheap stuff. That we're going to use for our exterior. So basically the deal is you want to paint polystyrene foam, at least if you're going to use it for this kind of application, or anything really where you want to paint it afterwards. You want to paint it with a good layer or two of PVA just to seal it, so that then you can spray paint it or do whatever you like over top without melting the foam. What I'm doing is I got given a free roll of fiberglass, so instead of using the cotton sheets I was going to use, or paper or whatever, just as sort of some sort of extra binder for that glue once it sets over top of all this structure, just kind of uniform it out and hide all of this kind of shittiness. We're doing fiberglass. So I picked a 3-face corner today, which is really difficult. It's really cold, and this is the bodgiest part of the building. Everything went to hell in a handbasket while I was building this area. We had a lot of trouble, so you can see a lot of saw marks and bullshit where we've had to recut and rebuild and bog things, and it's fucked, but it held together in the end, so that's all I care about. So what we've tried to do is layer up some fiberglass on there. At some points in here we've got 4 layers thick, some 3, some 2, some 1. I've played around with thinning the glue, using the glue at standard viscosity, how much to thin it if we do thin it, using a brush, using a roller, and a few other things. We just had an experiment for 20 minutes or so fucking around on this corner. I don't know if this will set properly or what will go on. It remains to be seen overnight and possibly the next couple of days, given the cold, if this PVA will even go off properly. But we're testing all of this in the worst case scenario possible area on this structure. There's lots of gaps and voids behind some bits of the fiberglass, so I want to see what happens when I poke them later, how strong this stuff is with the PVA. Does it flex too much? All the kind of variables there. But for those of you asking and being too lazy to watch my videos in progress on how this stuff works, that's where we're at the moment with our unit. It's about 2 meters long. It's just over 1.2 meters high. It's just under 1 meter wide. That's the exterior dimensions. Inside, obviously a little less than that. The whole thing is built on light framing around a couch that I just barely fit on, and obviously, as you saw inside, we've got some shelving in there that I can hang things under and put stuff in and put stuff on top of, and that's basically what it is. The theory here is you basically figure out your minimum furniture for somewhere to sleep, somewhere to sit, and do your things and store your shit. You link it all together with some light framing, and you cover the whole lot with foam to insulate it, and then put windows and doors and things into it, and make a micro box. It's very similar to things I've done before, but it's just a shit ton lighter. I would have demonstrated that to you, but I've got crap all over the roof at the moment, like a tray full of water there and shit, so we won't. But I can one arm pick up this end where the frame is and just launch it. Like, this thing weighs nothing. In fact, the biggest problem is for using it outdoors is we'll have to look at using ground anchors and stuff, or it'll just blow away. And I'm also concerned with things like the light glass that we'll be using in the frames. Is it too thin? And now we're going to have a situation where a strong wind will cause one of my windows to explode. One way to find out, right? So yeah, we'll see how we do, but I'm pretty happy with progress so far. Incredibly cheap and easy to do this kind of stuff. I think so far we would have spent less than $400 on this, and a lot of that went into things like the foam. I got fortunate. I was given a roll of fiberglass. I was given the couch I've been using for a while at secondhand and stuff like that, and I highly recommend using secondhand or found materials when you're doing this kind of stuff. You know, the whole idea of living this small is to reduce cost, and also to make it easier for you to live basically anywhere. But the lighter, cheaper, and, you know, simpler everything is, the better, for whatever reason you're doing this kind of thing. But yeah, you can totally imagine how this sort of thing, you could set up, you know, multiple units like these that were stackable, or, you know, put them all in a warehouse and have a bunch of people living there or whatever. So there's some good options here available for how to house lots and lots of people who are, you know, homeless or just living on the cheap or poor or whatever else. And, you know, I think this is some good solution options here. Anyway, that's enough from me. Bye.